Hey there, welcome to the garage. This is the 5.4 liter 3-valve out of my 2010 F150. We spent about 12 hours yesterday, me and a couple of good friends, pulling this out of my truck. All in all, the engine removal didn't go too terribly bad. Took us about 12 hours, like I said. It is worth noting that unless you have a cherry picker that has a really long reach, you'll have to remove the front bumper from the Ford F-150. I was surprised how much time we spent under the vehicle trying to get everything disconnected to get the engine removed. I figured most of it would be up on top, but if I had to estimate, we probably spent well over half of the time underneath the vehicle, because most of the things you just can't access from the top. You can get to the wiring, and you can get to the all of the connectors and all that stuff, but for any of the bolt options that you need to get to, those you have to come through the wheel wells and underneath to get to. My truck has a 2-inch leveling kit on the front, so that extra 2 inches that it added really gave us a bit of a challenge on getting the cherry picker to pick it up high enough. Had to be a little bit creative on that front as well. A couple things to note. The starter on the F-150, that is a particularly challenging piece to get disconnected. Also the bolts on the power steering pump. Those are the two things that gave us the biggest challenges that I can think of. But other than that, the engine came out pretty smooth. Normally I like to work in the garage with music playing, but YouTube doesn't like that, so we'll just be quiet. Wonder what size. Oh. What am I gonna need? Excuse me. Tools are scattered all over this garage after working yesterday. We just rolled everything in here. When we got done, it was dark. I gotta find tools that I need. Oh, well, the valve covers are 8s, that's for sure, but those guys look much smaller. I don't know why I put gloves on. 5.5? No. Oh, jeez, never find that again. Seven. No. Is it an 8? No. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, it is a 7. Okay. Ignition coils are 7mm. For those of you following along in your hymnals. I know some of you right now are thinking, my God, man, why are you doing that by hand? It's just a habit. I tend to not use power tools unless, well, I don't know why I don't, but I don't. Not often. So let's do this. Normally, I would put these in a bag, but I'm just going to put them right back in the valve cover. Can't get lost if they're still in the valve cover. That's not true. They can easily get lost. Okay, I need a box. Got a box. On to the other side. I am particularly interested in getting these valve covers off and taking a look at the valve train. So right about now, some of you are thinking, oh man, it's the 5.4. If you start pulling those spark plugs, they're gonna break in half, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, but 272,000 miles, this has been through a couple of spark plug changes already, so that's been remedied. Not worried about that. I am, actually these plugs were changed probably, I don't know, 50,000 miles ago, something like that. Genuine Motorcraft parts. Oh, and for those following along in your hymnals, these are 9/16. These are really long, so I think I may actually use a little electricity to get them out once I get them broken loose. I figure it's going to take another 10 or 12 hours to get the new engine in. And then looking at this garage, it's probably going to take another 3 or 4 hours just to go through and organize and sort all of our tools. We got tools from 3 different people. I want to make sure everybody goes home with the right stuff. Why is that one not coming out? Come back to it. It's my little rubber thingy nut capturing on there. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, there we go. Feels like I'm still bolted. Am I still bolted? It feels like I'm missing a bolt. Maybe this side was my problem. Oh yeah. Definitely found something concerning. Not really, because I'm replacing it, but there was significant wear on a couple of the on the cam over there. But then on this side, bring you in here close. I believe this is number 6. Not only is there wear, but there is some real damage starting to happen to that guy. The rest of them look a lot of wear. I mean, 272,000 miles, right? It's to be expected. Oh, timing chain on this side is a little loose. It was not the same on the other side. So all along I've been thinking my problem was on the other side of the engine. I think this side was my problem. Unless it's supposed to be a little loose like that. I would think not. I don't know. My first time in here. All right. So I'm going to get back to getting the rest of the stuff off this engine. I'm going to start kind of work my way down. Take the exhaust manifold off first. I thought I would give you guys some shots of this so that you can kind of see what's going on. All of this stuff is really difficult or really next to impossible to see when the engine is still in the truck. So if you happen to be trying to do some work and you need to get to a bolt, maybe this will help you find things, right? Like if I think you could, if you needed to get to this adapter for this is the oil filter adapter that also serves as the connection point for the lower radiator hose. It's all one unit. You can kind of see where the bolts are there. So we'll work through these real quick. I did go through and break all of the bolts loose already. So fortunately, I know nothing is seized or broken. These exhaust manifold bolts are 13s, I think. Never find that again. I said bolts, but they're nuts. Oh, look, the stud came out. That may have been what happened on the other side. I'm missing one. Several of these studs are coming out, which means I'm going to have to get new nuts because I'm not going to get those off. Okay, next, we're gonna go for this guy. I think that's a 10 if I remember right. forgot. Okay, here we go. I see evidence of blue Loctite. Blue Loctite? See evidence of something up in there. So, interestingly enough, the stud's missing on this side. I know I didn't take it out. I don't think any of us did. I don't know how long that's been missing. There we go. That may be too much. I don't know. We will find out. The instructions say from Powertrain to put a little bit of RTV on the joint where the timing chain cover connects to the valve cover, or to the what is this? Friggin' engine. Yeah, there you go. So I've got the valve cover on. I got the bolts in, just barely snugged up. They're just barely finger tight. I got the RTV where it needs to go. What I'm going to do is I'm looking at the gasket now to make sure that it is in line where it needs to be. All the way around, I need to let this sit for a little while the RTV cures. I think it's especially in the back. There we go. So it looks like that gasket is seated right where it needs to be. Ooh, getting too old to get up like that. So I'll put the other one on now. I'm doing the right thing using the old engine as a workbench. It's a surprising amount of crud down in this gasket groove. Follow the groove, man. Follow the groove. All right. There we go. Now, gasket time. It took a minute, but the on these gaskets that come with it, there's this little dimple piece right here. Can you guys see that? Maybe not on this camera. That coincides with the joint between the valve timing chain and the valve body. Valve body? Head. 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 That's it. I don't know when in the history of automotive we started using rubber gaskets, but whenever that was pure genius, because as a lot of you may know, the old cork gaskets they're good for a minute, I guess, if you get them on there right. Okay, ready to go. I never really know how much RTV to use. I know too much can be a bad thing. Too little, obviously a bad thing. I think I got too much there. Okay, perfect. Too much. Oh, I forgot one thing. Just want to wipe this surface real fast. I've had the engine covered up while it's been sitting in here for a few days, but never can tell. It only takes a little bit of something wrong on this gasket surface for it to leak. And if you watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm kind of a leak freak. I really hate any kind of fluid leaks. So I go to great lengths to make sure, or I think I go to great lengths to make sure that I don't get any leaks. There you go. There you go, big fella. Get in there. Fluid leaks and cross-threaded bolts. They're like, either one of them can just ruin your day. So an interesting thing that I found out in doing this, the PCV valve, PCV, positive crankcase ventilation, is that what that is? It is not serviceable on the Ford 5.4. It is part of the valve cover. So if you have a PCV issue, you have to replace the valve cover. It's recommended that when you replace the engine, you buy a new valve cover. So I didn't do that. I'm gonna take a chance, see if this one's okay. Because other than the oiling issues, I really didn't have any other noticeable concerns with this engine, or the entire truck for that matter, which is why I'm actually replacing the engine. If there was a lot of other stuff gone wrong with the truck, I wouldn't be just replacing the engine, but everything else about it is good. Okay, it's as tight as I'm going to get that guy for right now. I'm going to go around and check, make sure that my RTV's bulging out a little bit. That's good. Looks like the rubber gasket is all where it needs to go. Let's see. Yep. All straight in a line. No weirdness, no wrinkles, no bubbles, no creases, no runs, no drips, no errors. All right. Yeah, I know. Right now, there's somebody of you watching that realize how stupid I am. You're saying, Brian, you forgot to put the cam sensors in before you put the valve cover on. I did that on purpose just to see if you guys are going to catch it. So, good job, if you caught that. So now I'm quickly, this is where I probably should break my rules and resort to using a tool to speed this up a little bit. To get the cam phasers in before my RTV sets up. I think I'll be okay. Yeah, that's taking too long. I don't have a 1/4 inch. Let me get this out by hand faster. Okay. Does it matter which side? I don't think it matters which side. But it does matter what tool I use. Oh, come on, where are they? There they are. T27, if I remember right. That is correct. So if you're just joining in, cam phasers screw is a T27. That's not going to work. It's a 3/8. And the torque specs are about like that, from what I remember. I don't mind so much using power tools when I'm backing them back out, especially when I know that they're already broken loose. Crisis averted. Oh, I hate being in a rush. I'm just going to put this one here. So I was supposed to be doing this stuff. You guys don't know it, but it's been a week since we pulled the engine out of the truck. And I've been supposed to do all of this. It was upside down. all of this during the week. And you guys don't know much about my day job, but it occupied my week. So I've not had time, and now I'm up against the clock because my buddies are coming back over tomorrow to help me put the new engine in. And my son has a playoff first high school playoff game tonight, football. So I've got a limited amount of time to get her done, as they say, down home, wherever home is. Home's Arkansas originally, if you care. But now I live in Tennessee. There. It's like it never happened. What I was saying about the valve cover on the driver's side of the Ford 5.4, which by now you know that's what I'm working on. Good Lord, I don't have to say it anymore. Is the PCV is not serviceable. So if your PCV valve, is it a valve? Is that fair? If it has issues, you got to replace the whole valve cover gasket. And I want to say these torque to like 18 foot-pounds, but that may not be right. That may be a little much. I'll check before I actually torque them down. Okay, now I will go back and check to make sure my gaskets are not misaligned. Where'd y'all put my flashlight? Where'd you hide it? It's got to be right here. There we go. Okay. Saints played last night, didn't do good. Played the Jaguars. Came back strong in the second half, was looking good, got it tied up. What have I got there? And then just fell apart right there at the end. But that's not uncommon. I'm a Saints fan, win or lose, so it's okay. Which is good, because I do a lot of being a Saints fan when we lose. All right, gaskets are good. And I got the cam sensors in. Perfect. Oh, I'm running out of time. Running out of time. I feel like one of those reality shows where they're like, oh, we got to get done at a certain amount of time because we got to get to SEMA. Except I'm not going to SEMA. What size do you think that is? 13? Sure, why not? No. Oh, yeah, it is. Cool. Where is a thing? Here's a thing. Oh my gosh. I can't even, there we go.
This one's a little easier. It's not as heavy. There you go. Now you can see what's going on. Just go right here. I believe it does. I believe it does. Come on. Okay. Engine mounts, aka motor mounts, are on. So the oil filter goes there, lower radiator hose goes there. I don't forget what that is, goes there. Anyway, on this, so this whole adapter is one piece, and it's got this gasket that has to come off. And my kit came with a replacement, so I'm going to clean that up real quick and then put the new gasket on. Let's see which one matches up. I believe it is this blue one. A little bit different. So they send you a gasket for different ones. Okay, cool. All right, I got to get this cleaned up. Make sure they still sound good. I just put all of these pulleys on the previous engine, on the old engine, not maybe 10,000 miles ago. So that's not a 10. Why is that not a 10? 13? Sure. Because that's what I don't have handy. Let's try this. Magic bullet. Nope, it's not that. I am always chasing sockets. You know how it goes? You know how it goes. 13. Sure. Do a 13 deep. It's not a 13. Surely it's not a 14. Nothing is ever 14. It's 14. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. And my groovy pulley. Where's my bolt? There it is. Groovy pulley. Which way do you go? You go like this. Okay. All right. Took a little break there to go to my son's football game. We won, so that's awesome. It's early in the morning. I am trying to get ahead before my buddies get here. Need to torque these guys down to 18 foot-pounds, the pulleys on front of the engine. Boom, there we go. Of course, that's 9 because I forgot to set it. Whatever. Guess I thought that this thing was just going to magically know what torque setting I needed. Go ahead, roll over. There you go. And Jay, if you're watching, yep, I've still got your torque wrench, so thanks for letting me borrow that. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. I'll make through these guys. I torqued all of these down just real quick last night and double check them. These are uh, 9 pounds from my understanding. And I did torque them from the middle going out. So I know some of you are already commenting, you have to do them in the right order. I'm just checking, make sure they're still torqued where they need to be. Where are we going? Nope, not that. Wait a minute. Okay. 18 foot-pounds. The oil filter neck torque is 20 foot-pounds. I can't get on that one. I'm gonna have to find a deep 10. Exhaust manifold nuts are 14 foot-pounds. I guess I need to actually change. There we go. Okay. And my understanding is you torque these top to bottom going from back to the front. If you guys know any different, let me know. I have not had enough coffee yet this morning. Sun's not even up. Well, maybe almost up. It may be starting to get a little light out there. Okay, spark plugs next. 25 foot-pounds. I think. Manufacturer says 25, but on the box it says like 10 or something. It says 7.5 to 11 foot-pounds. I don't know that. I'm going to torque them to 12 because that matches neither number that I've seen. And then see how I feel about that. That doesn't feel quite enough to me. I think I'm liking the 25. That seems like a lot though. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think I'm gonna do a little more. I'll get them to 12 and then I'm gonna jump online real quick. Because you know, the internet's never wrong. A few of our lying resources on the internet confirm 25 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go with that. Oh, this is a ground strap. Wonder why we had to buy a new one of those. Might have gotten broken. Maybe. Still have to confirm. "25 foot-pounds feels quite a bit better. I don't know what that gibberish is on the box, but
11 pounds. That's ridiculous. Coil packs. Oh, 5 foot-pounds. That's like finger tight. Okay.
Well, sounds like I'm running out of time. I do believe I hear my buddies pulling up, so check that out. Earlier in the video, I had mentioned that the starter and the power steering pump were two of the trickier parts to get out. There's a few other things that I wanted to mention, particularly the exhaust flange bolts on the passenger side. And more specifically, the top one is really challenging to get to. There's the firewall is in the way, and the catalytic converter is right there. There's just not a lot of room, and you can't get a real straight angle on the bolt. You don't really need a lot of specialized tools for this engine swap. Really just your socket and wrench set of fairly normal sizes. They're for the windshield wiper cowling. It does go down to, there's some bolts that are like 5.5 millimeter small sockets. But other than that, a lot of 10 and 13 millimeter sockets, or a lot of 10 and 13 millimeter bolts and nuts. So some of them require sockets, some require wrenches. And then going on up, I think the largest is going to be like a 22 millimeter. And then on the engine mounts, you have like a 15/16. You're going to need some deep sockets. You're going to need some shallow sockets. You're going to need some fixed head wrenches, some fixed head ratcheting wrenches, some flex head ratcheting wrenches, some stubby wrenches, all normal sizes, but it really it helps to have a lot of options. I will say that 10 millimeter and 13 millimeter sockets, I would, if I were going to do this again, I would start out with several of those. You need them all the time, and they're never where you need them. So other than you'll need the fuel line disconnect tool, but other than that, there really aren't a lot of specialty tools. As long as you're not trying to disconnect transmission lines or radiator, remove the radiator, which we didn't have to do, then you really don't need any special. No special tools. The battery was 4 years old in the vehicle when it was parked, so I knew it was sketchy. It was good enough for me to move it and get it where we're going to work on it. But then, when it came time to start doing the dry cranking, we primed the engine by basically disconnecting the fuel injectors and then slowly cranking the engine and letting it oil prime for a little bit. That did the battery in almost instantly. So we did have to jump start it in order to finish the priming and then get it fully started. But the battery was 4 years old. But all in all, having to jump start the vehicle, that wasn't a big deal. Worked out pretty good. And I got a new battery out of the deal, so that works. We did, it did take quite a while. It took about 16 hours total to get the engine back in. One thing we did do is we pre-filled all the coolant in the engine block, kind of topped that off before we put the intake on. And then using the special radiator funnel that it's designed to burp the system as the engine is running. That really helps to make sure there's no air in the system.
Hoping.
It kind of looked like it.
We gotta find what goes there. Once you put that on, you can't see shit.
There is another PCV hose that came off as about yay long that goes from there to there. It goes from here to there.
And then this still goes somewhere.
Try to figure out what that noise is.
I hope my face ain't as dirty as your face. Yours ain't bad. You just got a mark. What about the you did top off the power steering too, right?
Yeah. Well, I did before we started.
It's empty. We need some more.
Okay.
It's blowing air. It's probably foaming.
Right there. On the ground, the small black bottle. Right.
Oh, yeah, right in front of
Power steering pump's making that noise.
Yeah, the air is gone. It's a little over full. You probably need to change it. It's brown. Well, I guess we did, but I guess it was what was in the pump. Oh yeah, I'm done. I am done. Are you putting yours in?
Right up there by the
Looks like it's lined up. All right, it is way late in the night. We got the engine in, got it test started. Everything works great. Engine is perfect. I do have a dead battery, so I'm going to have to replace the battery. But right now, I got to get in the house. We went about, well, I don't know, what would be 15, 16 hours today. And it's been a long day. So I'm going to get some rest and get cleaned up. And then I will be back with you guys tomorrow and we'll wrap this video up. So stick around. Okay. All right, I feel better. Cleaned up. Next day, got some rest. Hoping to get this thing finished up today. Runs fine, but the battery was dead. It was old, so we were having to jump start it to get it to run last night. So I got a new battery. I'm going to slap in, and then fire it back up. Make sure everything works as needed, and then I'll begin. Got to put the cowl back on, and I got to put the bumper back on. And then other than that, I'll be done. So let's get a battery put in this thing. I am a fan of the Optima batteries. They're a little pricey, but I think they're worth it. It's not going to work. So these Optima batteries are a little smaller than the battery tray. So I'm going to have to put some kind of, I've got spacers in there, but they're not quite big enough. So I have to adapt that, but I want to see if I can get it to work first. That's not right. Start it up, see what we get. It'll either start or it won't, right? Going hot. Woohoo! Wow. I must say I'm quite pleased and quite excited. We'll check and make sure the alternator is charging. 14.4, charging just fine. Awesome, awesome. What was more? Ow, that was almost too easy. I've got some screws somewhere. Yeah, those just snap in like that. I don't know that I could get so lucky. Okay. Not exactly centered, but there we go. All right, nuts. What size do you think that is? Probably a 10. Maybe it's an 8. No, that is not an 8. No way. Where'd that 10 go? Ah, it's in my pocket. See how they do? They just get away from you. Oh, this is a 1/4 inch. Oh, I never have the tool I need. Oh, I've never been so happy to hear a vehicle start in my whole life. Thank goodness. All right, let's clean this mess up and roll down the driveway for a minute. Covered in pine needles, of course. Put her in drive. Look at there. What do you know? It runs. I think this could quite possibly be one of the most exciting days of the year right here. Very excited. Oh. So there we go. I'm gonna call this video a wrap. The 5.4 transplant from Powertrain works great. thanks to my buddies for helping me out. I couldn't have done it without them. So, and thanks to you guys for watching. You guys have a great day. See ya.